Nice.
It's gonna be funny.
So how you doing, man?
Good. I mean, decent drive out here today. So
Yeah, right.
a lot of construction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last time I drove up your way, which is headed towards Winnipeg, I was laughing because on the way there, I was looking at all the construction because it was all headed west.
Right.
And then on the way back, I was like, shoot.
It added on probably a half hour.
Yep. Yeah, easily. Yeah, easily. What are you smoking?
Another one of these infused guys. Ooh. It's a Galactic Glue.
Galactic Glue.
That one is a live resin infused live resin. I'm not as big a fan of the taste on this one, but not opposed.
That black tie drink I had is kind of masking
the flavor. Yeah, it's stronger than the flavor that is. I feel like this one's being punched up by the concentrate instead of a pallet adder.
Who's it by? Bro?
I don't remember.
Not sure.
Yeah. I grabbed it out of the package and then I was like, I should have taken a picture.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't mind the taste. It's just kind of bland.
Yeah. Again, this is one, I find that it's like two categories with the infused stuff because it's the stuff that's in good flour that's infused and it creates this new thing, or it's shitty flour that's infused to make it an acceptable percentage for people to buy it.
Right. And that's frustrating because there's a lot of that, man, where it's like take your bottoms and sprinkle a little keef on it, roll it up, and now you've got yourself a...
And now value purchase for some people, I think it's great. Again, talk to your bud tender, but that's the stuff where you have to be able to decide where this sits. Right. There's stuff like
Small Fire,
Sticky Greens, this company out of Saskatchewan.
Uh-huh.
They're a distillate cart company, but they've also got infused pre-rolls, and they don't do flour themselves to my knowledge or anything. So as far as I know, they source it.
Okay.
But their distillate is great. Like they've got these incredible flavors, like a root beer style flavor,
or
strawberry, or what is it? The pink Starburst, sorry. And so they have that infused with the pre-roll. So those are fun. They're like a great high. They taste amazing. Those are just whatever, especially if you don't like the taste of weed, they're really quite fun. But at least like you're getting this cool flavor out of it. The weed's actually really good. They're a good smoke altogether versus it's like meh.
Yeah, that sucks.
There's good regular pre-rolls that aren't infused that taste better.
But then again, like that weed shouldn't go to waste either. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not that good. What do? Just throw it all in the garbage, throw it in the compost? I think if you can complement it, I think if you can add a little something to it to make it enjoyable, then why not, man?
Yeah.
Why not? It's like just concentrates in general, And sometimes something that might not come out so flavorful or bountiful is actually something that turns out to be really
quite nice.
Really good for a resin or a rosin, press or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad either.
No, it's not terrible. It was when I got here, I was telling you, I was remembering how a friend of ours with getting high in public, I was just thinking about it from having a conversation with somebody the other day. I'm just thinking about a mutual friend of ours because as soon as he gets stoned, his aviators are on and you don't see his face for whatever until the next day.
I know exactly.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's it doesn't matter where we are, how you're dressed, or, it could be a fancy situation or not. His sunglasses are on.
Yeah.
And that's it if we're out in public, and even to a degree when he gets home, because he's just like, he can feel how high
rain
his
or
eyes
shine,
look. Right.
Light or dark. Man, I used to do the same thing. Like all the way through high school, I wore my sunglasses, and everybody was like, "You're just wearing those because you're high." And I was like, "Well, yeah. But I also don't enjoy having everyone just see me like, So
it's a weird thing because I find now, especially because that was we're gonna go to the movie theater, and I don't want to have the person stare at me because we got super high before we went to go watch something.
Right.
And you have to interact with this person at the counter and order food or whatever it is.
Which is such a shame because you should be blasted You know what I mean? When you go to the movie theater.
There's positives to the automated tellers and stuff, right?
Yeah,
you don't even have to talk to anybody. You can be as high as you want.
Yeah, I don't talk to anyone.
Yeah, you can pre-order that stuff.
Yeah, all your food.
That's kind of nice, but that's changed. Even my attitude towards it. I mean, as I get older, because it's like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, now, especially too, it's a legal system.
Right.
I'm allowed to be high.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal. You want to judge me? That's your problem. Then you've got a lot about my life. You have
more
to judge.
about you.
Yeah. It's just that I wonder how that attitude's had to change. Like for our friend, like he's still very much like that. But small town
even
living.
In the legal world.
Yeah, the deal with his job.
Yep.
And it's a very different thing, and we are so soaked in it in so many facets that as I interact with like new customers and stuff, it's funny to hear that. I'm like, oh wow, you have to deal with stigma in your everyday life. That's really weird, right? Like the person that has to go for goes for a run and comes and buys a half-gram joint and a lighter every time so that they can
just enjoy their blunt.
Their run and thing because their wife or husband doesn't know. And we've talked about that before.
Or
but
at least they think they don't know. Because it's the same as when
smoking cigarettes.
People hide it. Like there's this guy. There's this guy in my town that his wife doesn't know he smokes, so he jumps into his truck and drives around having a cigarette. And I'm like, you'd be better off outside smoking that because you're just getting covered in it, boxing up the truck. But yeah, it happens. And I'm like, do you think your wife is dumb? Like, are you? Because like, I bet you she knows.
Yeah.
You're not fooling anyone.
I got a family friend that's like that, and it's always funny because as far as his wife says, he doesn't drink or smoke anymore, and he doesn't smoke weed, and yet every time we're with him, he does all of those things. It's not just like one of them, it's all of them. And I'm like, how does she not know? Right? Like that's one of those you're just choosing to ignore all the signs.
You're just ignoring. I know I had a buddy in school that his mom couldn't smell. And I was like, yeah, right. He's like, no, we blaze in the bedroom right in our house.
And she just comes in.
She has no idea. I was like, well, then you probably got to be careful with the box because like she won't smell it, but you can see, like even right now, you can see the haze in here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like anyone who walks in is going to know.
It's still a thing.
But I guess if you can't smell, I guess, my buddy loved it. I was like, man, that's crazy. Your mom can't smell.
I didn't realize it was the thing. Jeez.
Right? I know. It's Tyrell.
How do you go? Oh, yeah, okay. How do you get that? Roll the dice as a lucky high school kid, right?
I know. Yeah, we're going to go over to Tyrell's house and smoke because mom can't smell it.
Yeah, she can be home all the time. It doesn't matter. Just blow it out the window. Who cares?
Man.
That's nice. That's lucky.
Bro, I remember when I was young getting busted. Rest in peace to my buddy Tyson. We were sitting down in his basement, similar to this actually right now, where I was sitting down on the basement. I had a torch between my legs, except it wasn't a handy one. Back in the day, we had the
propane one. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here with a torch between my legs, and I think I'm heating up a piece or something. And his stepmom, comes to the window as she's walking by, and it's closed, but all I can hear is, you put the fucking in my house, and you know why? I'm like, oh shit, Tyson, take this, I'm out of here. And man, she put up with so much shit. I'm surprised, as a kid, it's like, we were getting high in our house, and we were like maybe 16, 17, and like, they tolerated it, you know what I mean? They could have kicked us all out on the curb, maybe should have, but crazy experiences, man, when I was young. And then it's amazing how many people are actually fairly complacent with weed.
Right.
They don't actually hold a huge stigma or a perception about it, because I feel like even back when we were kids, even adults knew that it wasn't nearly as bad as what people were telling us.
No, there were reaction differences to what was going on, and those generally weren't the ones that got the really rough reaction.
Right. How did my parents hated it. Like when I actually talked to them, I remember them saying, if we catch you on that wacky weed, I don't know what I was threatened with, but I remember if we catch you on wacky weed, wacky tobacco or something. I don't know what it was.
That wacky tobacco.
Yeah. And it wasn't a very favorable opinion.
No, mine weren't either. My mom was super against it. Super, super, super against it. And she would, like, even when I first moved to Winnipeg, and she would come in to visit, it was like you had to put the bongs away and pretend it didn't
Right,
exist.
I remember that.
Yeah. Like it was a very different situation, and her path was purely medicinal. And then I'll digress for a moment to be like, my dad smoked weed for the first time at 50 because he was just a super old business person, he just drank a ton, but it didn't. The cannabis thing never. Played into. And he did it once, touched it a couple times. He's got like a lung thing now, so smoking, but oils and gummies, like he now, no problem. It's like not really recreational. Maybe he'll take it early to watch a movie.
Right.
But it's mostly just so he can sleep.
More medical.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to sleep.
But Mom, I left a one hooter packed with a lighter sitting next to it on our kitchen counter one day and was like, it's there. Yep. That's it. Just let it inhale like a cigarette. You know how to do that? No problem. It sat there for a week and a half, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She just wouldn't do it. And then eventually one night when my dad was at work, she tried it. And then I got a call the next day. So if I wanted to do this more, how would I, what does it cost? All this other stuff. I'm like, Mom, I'll give you a few grams. I got you. Yeah.
Because she's only going to need such a little
She was
amount.
taking small amounts and she wouldn't do it in front of us. It was this whole thing. That once she started doing it, and there was a joke about whether or not she would do it around us and everything, then because she didn't like to be high in front of us.
Sure. I get it.
And then it became basically free range for us kids, where we got to, inevitably there was a bong that got kept at their house, and the china cabinet for when we visited, right? Yeah. So
and you'd use it too? Oh, like the bong in the cabinet? Yeah.
Like that was like when me and my sister were there for dinners and stuff, that we had that there, so we could bring weed, and there was a bong there for us.
Right.
So it really changed from having to hide it to Mom let us accommodate it at her house.
For sure.
For when we were around. So it was an exposure thing.
Right. And you know what? Break the barrier too. Like I know for my father-in-law, like my mother and father-in-law didn't ingest at all. But in 2018, when it became legal, that all changed. It's
crazy the switch was there for
that was
people.
it. And a lot of people were just being held back. They just wanted that legalization, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
They're not going to put their whole life in jeopardy over this plant. Some of us do, but not everybody will.
Well, and there's a difference of access too. Again, there's always been opportunity. The first thing I did when I, as a young 20-year-old moving to Toronto, gonna see what happens.
Discover the world.
And first thing I did, I was there 2 days maybe, and because I had been at home visiting or just being with the family and stuff, and then it was so who and where do I get this? Awesome, right. And then it was just, I had to get set up.
You're in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Into the.
Who do I need to talk to? Perfect. Found out and got to deal with it. Okay, now I can move on with my life. It was, you had to accommodate it
for sure
right away.
Yep, for sure. That makes total sense. Yeah, it's funny. I can't imagine now a world where it's not legal and where you have to move. Like when I go to Vegas, for example, I don't bring anything with me. I'm not jeopardizing
that. Prevents me from traveling.
That's right. It
really does. It takes away my urge, because I'm like, all these things are enjoyable, but under the context of how I enjoy my day to day already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to get to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I need that. I remember when we went to my wife and I, when we first got together, we went to Missouri in the States, and it was like a 5-day trip or something like that. It might have been a little bit longer. I don't remember, but I was like, fuck, I need to bring weed, because I'm not going to try to find. This is 2008.
Yeah. Finding weed in Missouri wasn't going to be an easy thing to do.
No. So allegedly I brought some. And so I just had to make sure that I didn't tell my wife, is what I would have done if I actually did this.
Right.
I wouldn't tell my wife so that she didn't have a clue. And of course we get pulled over at the border, and we pull into the booth or whatever, or into the lineup, and at the border, and the guy's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "Missouri." And he's like, "Where in Missouri?" And I was like, Sunshine Beach, Sunrise Beach. He's like, "I never heard of it." I was like, "You know of every place in America?" I was like, "Wow, good for you." Yeah. And he's like, come in. And he's like, "You ever been to America before?" and stuff like that. And that's no. And he's like, "Okay, pull into booth number whatever, 3. And I'm shaking, because
You're old.
I may or may not have some. I may or may not have some stuff on me, and I'm worried. And you know, I've seen shows before, and so they pull us into the booth.
I know the repercussions.
I know how this goes.
Yeah.
So they pull us into the booth. They ask us both to step out of the vehicle, and they put us in like not an interrogation room, but like no bigger than this room here. There's benches on one side, benches on the other, bench on each side. A one-way mirror, so you can't see through. And we're sitting on one side, and then there's this other couple sitting on the other side. And we're shooting the shit because, you know, we got nothing but time, and we're all tripping.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the border patrol agent comes into the room, and he's like, "So, which one of you guys brought the cherries?" And I'm looking at them, going like, "You brought cherries?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how could you?" And so they're like, "Okay, you guys can go." And so we go and we hop into the car and drive. And I believe it or not, I don't even have my license at this time, but I drove the whole way down there, allegedly. And then as soon as we got about a mile out, you know, the wife pulls over and we switch seats again.
You have no license,
And
you're allegedly
And I'm allegedly
holding
carrying.
a substance, and like they don't bother you. But
the cherries.
those fucking guys with cherries, we gotta have
cherries.
another talk.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I was sweating. And then so, yeah, we switched drivers about a mile off after the border. And I get into the car or into the driver's seat, and I lean over to the wife and I was like, "I brought weed." She's like, "You didn't." I was like, I did. And immediately I smoked a bowl right then and there. So then like a couple years later, I'm watching that Border Patrol show or whatever, U.S. Border Patrol on Nat Geo. And sure, like I thought I was so smart, man, because there's like these, you know, those retractable handles where you pull your luggage behind. And well, those retractable handles, there's a little sleeve in there. So I put it at the far bottom and then put the handle down. Well, I'm watching the border agents show or whatever.
They go straight for it.
They go straight. I'm thinking I'm the smartest.
Yeah, you're the first person to do that.
And the first place they look is in the handle place, and they find weed in the show or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. Not to mention, I then learned that both sides of the border, they've got cameras for at least a mile, both ways. So not only did they know that I didn't have a license, I switched into the driver's seat within that mile range. And I smoked a bowl right there too, allegedly. So man, I was just like, so dumb, man. So I've never brought anything again. I've been to America like half a dozen times since then, at least. And I don't bring it anymore. I fuck that, man. Well, it's legal everywhere I go. America's legal in most cases.
There's most spots that you're going anyways that you can at least pick up.
Yeah. And not to mention I'm going with some crazy homies that are just some of the best fucking home growers on the planet. And
they're already in the States.
They've got a pretty good stack.
Yeah.
And they're already there. So it's home based. I always said when you guys come over to Canada, don't bring anything. I got you when you're here.
You don't need to worry about it.
I got you when you're here.
Survive the plane ride.
Yeah, just get through this. Yeah, get through the 5, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a long time actually.
It's very it's been a long time since I've been in the States. And when we went over, I had a buddy that didn't tell any of us and brought it. And we were all like, we're going to a concert and whatever. And then we got a little bit across. He's like, guys. And then he told us, we're like, what? Yes! But we were like, man, we would have killed you if we ended up in jail tonight. But like, yes, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yeah, hindsight. But it didn't end that way.
It didn't end that way.
Bro,
but I mean, plausible deniability is really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Right? I had no idea he was bringing that stuff down. Yeah, he's going to go to jail for the night. Yeah. We're going to the concert.
Yeah. We'll pick you up on the way back.
Yeah.
Poor. That would have been less fun.
Man, that like the hardest part about it is like at least when I'm going to America, it's in November or December this year. I actually have a direct flight, which is the first time ever.
They just started doing that out of Winnipeg.
Yeah. Really?
To Vegas, right?
Yeah.
The direct flights out of Winnipeg now.
Oh my God, it's like a 3-hour flight, bro.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was like 13 hours sometimes because I'd have to do the layover, and it's 3 times. I'd fly from here to Calgary or from Calgary to
something. I can't remember who's doing it, but it's a direct flight to Vegas now.
And it's not even that expensive, man. So anyways, I smashed my cell phone because I got up at 5 a.m. to catch the flight for 9. And of course I got to drive to Winnipeg, which is 2+ hours away. Plus they want you there an hour early. And when I'm flying international, I try to get there an hour early because the wife and I on one trip were running like Home Alone style through the airport, and then our luggage didn't show up because they load the luggage first or whatever.
Right.
So our luggage didn't show up because we were literally running in as the plane was shutting the door. But yeah, the hardest part is you get up at 5, drive 2 hours, getting high the whole fucking time. Like I'm trying to get as high as I can in those 2 hours. Trying to like to go through the plane, so I could just sit on the plane
because you can't re-up on the plane.
Nope.
And
Nope. It's all down. It's
from
all
there.
Down from there, man.
I guess like
that's why alcohol, man. Like
But you can drink.
To say it.
You can drink the whole time. You can drink on the plane. Yeah, I know.
I get.
And that'd be nice. Like, why isn't the cannabis beverages, and especially too once we can start to get to some higher percentages, inevitably you'd hope. But most of them are faster acting. So
I always forget too that we can. Like I could have flown with weed from Winnipeg to Calgary.
Oh yeah,
because I could fly with it on a plane. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and with you as a medicinal user, you can fly with a lot.
Yeah, a lot. A lot. Problem is that there's nowhere to get high in Calgary because you'd have to leave out of the airport and then come back through security and the checking because they don't have a smoking section anywhere.
Right.
Which is whatever, but it makes it it's a little tough because anyways, life of a stoner, man. So when it was November or February when I went to Vegas, of course, going in Winnipeg, it's minus 40. 30 in January, February.
Right.
So I'm dressed to the nines, winter jacket, sweater, pants. As soon as I'm in Vegas, I'm way overdressed. So I'm sweating.
It's the desert to a different side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty. My knees are weak. I'm going. It's an original. Yeah. And so I'm trying to like figure out where I'm going, and I'm so hot, and I'm not high even a little bit. And then I'm like calling Chris, Mr. Grote. I'm like, bro, it's 11. They lost my luggage, or it was somewhere. I had no idea where it was. And there goes my phone. I didn't even try to catch it. It was like, most of the time I'm like, oh yeah. But I was just so out of it. I just smashed it. I was like, damn it. And I pick it up, and then within like 15 minutes, I dropped it again. And the first time it broke, it really looked cool. The way the glass like kind of shattered across the back.
Spider web throughout the glass.
The second time, all the glass started falling out. And it wasn't nearly as nice. But yeah, that's that withdrawal is really what it is. I can't go 13 hours without smoking weed. I don't even sleep that long. I sleep for like 5.5, 6 hours at most.
Right.
So it's like, and that's at most. So yeah, that's the longest stint I go without getting high. And so yeah, 13 hours is just ridiculous. But direct flight, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Direct flights, 3 hours.
3 hours, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I just find I'm drinking. I'm drinking to alleviate not being high. And then so by the time I get to Vegas, thank God I sleep because I'd be hammered. I got to get in a rental.
Well, that'll change now with the direct flight.
Direct flight, yeah.
Accommodation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but it's funny how like it's a different extreme where like when we started talking, it's wearing sunglasses in the movie theater to order your popcorn because you're high as shit versus playing it on the other side where you're like, traveling's tough. Yeah, because
I'm a rock in a hard place.
I'm high all the time, and how do I accommodate this?
That's where it's like those
give
pens.
Shit levels low.
You had a pen. Oh, it's on the other side of the camera.
Oh yeah.
But you that pen is pretty handy. I'm not a huge fan of the airflow on it, but some of the other ones.
But these are the packs. They're the
the packs. I've heard
which
of them.
everybody is fairly familiar with.
Yeah. I don't
as a company. My favorite. I haven't used them since like very early generations.
Right, and I've only had one hoot off of it before we got started.
Yeah, well, and like I'm talking about the dry herb concentrate ones, refillable guys. And my thing with them is just the bottom oven. Like I had to it gets really hot, and you're flicking it onto your counter to refill it. And if you're session with anybody, or if you're somebody that is a fairly regular user, one bowl's not doing you much. And it was just super inconvenient. Everything about it I found to be very inconvenient, very pocketable.
Of course.
Right? But it was just past that. And then this is their pre-filled pod, and that you buy with whatever this is, a Pineapple Express live resin. And it's, serviceable. Yeah,
it's what I don't like about that particular one, and maybe it's only because I want one draw off it, that's all. It's rough, or not rough, but it's thick. to inhale on.
It's a heavy draw, and you don't get a big pop.
And you don't get a
you don't get much
huge hoot out of that.
No.
Whereas like I've got this pen, and now it's the other one over there, and those things now it's a distillate pen. Actually, that one might be rosin, but anyways, they hit much better.
Yeah, and these batteries aren't very cheap. Like I think the battery costs about $60 retail.
But it recharges?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
But that's like, unless you're buying some fancy or a designer thing, I mean, a lot of the 510 batteries.
$60 a lot of money.
Right, because most batteries are like $10.
Right, you can get $2 one. You go in and you get it like or some place will give them to you for free.
Right. Like, or you get like a baseline $10 one,
right.
Or they're generally less than $20 unless you're buying something that's like wirelessly rechargeable or something. But yeah, it's one of those. But
I don't like that sound. How it whistles at you.
It's that very tight airflow. But like, things like this change also the days of having to accommodate your eyes.
That wasn't too bad, actually.
Yeah. The days of having to accommodate your eyes changes with concentrate pens. Because like what I associate or understand to be a heavy amount of dehydration with the red eye and such, you don't get as much with concentrate. You're not not burning anything.
Yeah.
You're not getting the effect as much. And I think that's also a lot of people are using when they're out now. So there's less people just smoking a joint when they're going out to do it. So it's like you can do this and not get all I stink and get paranoid about it. 100%. So are you worried about covering your eyes?
When I'm getting high out in the public, or I'm going out in the public when I'm high, I want discreet. You can put those right. Yeah, toss them on the side. I want discreet. I want easy. Because like, God, I am a bong guy. However, try pulling that out when you're out and about at a restaurant or, out with the friends.
Right.
Not a chance. Now, don't get me wrong. Freeze pipe makes it pretty sweet. It all comes apart and everything.
But taking glass and having all that stuff.
Taking glass is a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Portable like e-nails are much more popular nowadays. Like in terms of what's available. I mean, they're more popular, but like Puffco's and stuff. The Dr. Dabber, those original ones. I had one. At my wedding, that was what we were hitting at my wedding the whole night because I had that. It was great, removable batteries. But that's even still a level of carrying a case of something and glass pieces. And like, that's still like, we're looking for convenience here.
Right.
Not, otherwise, if you're going to take steps, well, then I'm going to take a step that's going to make me really happy.
That's right.
So it's like finding something in the middle.
Those portable dab units are pretty damn good, man. There's Puffco's got a good one. Yeah. Dr. Dabber's got a good one.
I'm really excited. Puffco? It's you can buy different, like one's like a wizard looking pipe. It's glass, and the concentrate bowl sits inside. You can also do dry herb with it. So you can have a wizard one. You can have a Sherlock Holmes looking one.
Is it a big one? Like, is it the big?
No. So again, it'll be a glass Sherlock Holmes looking pipe, that style, or
it's really just that small,
and it's glass. But the bowl thing is like it's smaller than the grinder. It looks like, and it is removable out of these things. Piece. And then you can put them in. And I'm like, oh shit, I might really love that.
I would love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I think I'm gonna. I just saw them on one of my wholesaler sites. Well, I was looking at stuff for the store, but I'm like, oh, that interests me. That might come in because that might be really cool.
Yeah.
And the Puffco stuff's good. Like
Puffco's really good.
I've only used one of the Peak units like a couple of times, but like I enjoyed them. They're a very easy experience.
Yeah, I've used it a few times.
Not a sponsor.
Although if you're listening, Leslie, I remember we partied in LA with the Puffco sales rep or something, I think it was. I'm trying to remember her name for the life of me, but she actually hooked us up with some hoots while we were in the Green Street Music Festival. And she's like, here, take this. And so we're like, and just blowing clouds. Oh, it was so fun, man. Yeah, I've had some pretty cool times. And Puffco was really awesome there. And they're about it too. They're about the community. And when their salespeople or their people are enjoying it too, that gets me excited. And that's the same with AC Infinity. Partied with them too. Their team, they got a rather small team, but the girls there are just awesome. And they know how to represent. You know what I'm saying? They're a good company, good people, yeah.
They're about the enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I think
you got to. Yeah. When you got that kind of equipment, Puffco in particular, when you got that kind of equipment, you need people that are going to use it to sell it.
Yeah, they're investment pieces, right? It's part of that.
Oh, it is a investment piece for sure.
Yeah, that's like those jet water pipes.
Oh my God. It was actually, it was our buddy, like we were talking to Tyler earlier. It was actually him that brought that up to me. And I saw that and I was like, what?
Yeah, and then he was the only one of us that's pulled the trigger on it.
I know.
I'm getting one now.
Piece. Yeah, I know. I told you to order a couple of them.
Yeah, well, I brought them into the store, and that's why.
They're in the store now?
No, they're going to be here on Monday, actually. So I got some of the tall units and some. They got like a short unit as well, too. They have a new pipe, and I didn't order any of those. They're not cheap, but it's like you can totally take them apart, and the concept is they have these like cyclones, so you get incredible cooling over short distance.
Right.
So it's supposed to be more of like a bong. Like I didn't order them; they're a little expensive, and I was like, okay, let's like see how these go because these aren't cheap bongs either.
Nope. When they come in, I'm grabbing one. One's already going to be gone.
I'm so excited about them, and
one's already gonna go.
It's one of those things where I've been looking for an excuse to get a new piece, anyways, and they're like I really like that piece of yours, but. It's finding I need function and uniqueness. And that's a hard area to cross because I don't need something elaborate that's hard. I'm an everyday.
Practicality.
You got to clean that son of a gun. Right.
And I want the same thing.
I need other people to be able to use it. I have guests. Like, again, cannabis is part of our lives. I don't have to wear the sunglasses anymore.
Right.
It's part of the offering when people come over. Can I get you a hoot? Can I get you a drink? What's going on? You know, so that's also part of it.
And I want something that's a nice talking piece, but I also have to clean it. And there's like a lot of these these huge ones, beautiful pieces. They'll be like, I will never smoke out of that. That's not a piece for me.
Yeah. The difficulty of cleaning just makes it that you don't want to touch it.
There's $1 million bong out there, and it's incredibly, it's beautiful, but it's like I would never smoke out of it. It's so intricate, and you would never clean it.
Yeah. You're buying that one purely as art, I would assume.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure someone's gonna use it. You know,
you take one hoot out of it, put it on the mantle.
Yeah. Hopefully, you take one hoot, you rinse it out as best you can, and I don't even know if you get all the water out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess if you blow.
And but again, that's what I'm excited about these guys because they come right apart. They're indestructible, and it's kind of like it scratches a little bit of a tech side of it. It's completely analog. It's just the fact that the way they're designed and the little bit of water they use to create the amount of filtration, and it's not a recycler. They're just such a neat unit, and they hit so well. I really like the bold design for clearing. I'm excited. I'm excited to get that.
Yeah, they're great pieces. I love the ingenuity of everything. I'm glad that we're still making good stuff. Like we're seeing this kind of stuff, come out. Now this is Freeze Pipe. They were a long time sponsor, or a sponsor of mine a long time ago. But you throw this piece in the freezer and it freezes. And then as you hit it, it goes through and a great talking piece. And actually, this is another one of them. I've got all their pieces, but it's
those are great to have.
Yeah, well, they're great pieces.
Me and
of conversation.
That same friend, when we were living together, when we bought a bong, when we first moved in together, we bought a piece of like a Build-A-Bong one that had but we each paid for it and we split the base. And then we had two of them. One was in the freezer and one was being used. And then we just played the rotation game. Yeah. Because they're great. Once you have it, you're like, oh shit. Yeah.
I really do enjoy them. They're long lasting pieces in my house for sure. And I love that this is the newer version where they started to use like the darker glass in the middle.
I like that smoke teal coloring and stuff. Yeah,
it's a nice look. Yeah, they're great pieces. But yeah, conversation, I love having them, and I remember those Build-A-Bongs back in the day. And just like
do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
They're very popular for a while. That's fun. But that's like the bar cart aspect of it being more out there. We're getting to. It's not this. I mean, for some people it is. It's different lifestyles, but it's more of a, I want this thing to be out because it's going to get used. So it's not some weird tray I have to hide away. It should be like we're having adult entertainment time. Everybody has access to it. It's fine. Yeah.
Come enjoy.
Yeah. This isn't the kid's birthday party. We're fine.
Yeah.
Even then.
Let's go outside, put our sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Interact with everybody out there.
Exactly.
Oh, what a time it is, man. Great conversation, man.
Yeah.
kind of talked about everything there. But what do you guys, in turn, in the comments, how do you guys enjoy your time out within the public when you're high? Are you the kind of person to wear on some sunglasses? Do you just don't care? Love to hear from you guys. Let us know. You can find us over on Instagram, Highly Motivated Productions, and highlymotivatedproductions.ca for more information. See you, brother.
Have a good day. Peace.